Hello, good day, everyone. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day today. Welcome to the podcast From Zero to Hero, and I am your host, Tony Mudd, and I am extremely thrilled that you all are here with me today. You could be doing anything with your time, with your day, but you're here with the podcast From Zero to Hero, and I truly thank you for that. Remember that this podcast is all about becoming the best version of yourself, whether it's in your career, your relationships, or just your life in general. Just trying to get the most out of life, pushing yourself to grow to be the best person you possibly can. And that's all what this podcast is about. So before we get started today, I have a special shout out to some of our amazing sponsors. First up, I want to give a shout out to Safe Touch Family Counseling. As I always say, they can continue to do great work in our communities, helping families heal from trauma, grief, and sexual abuse within the community. So I just want to give a shout out to them. And also, too, I want to give a shout out to Goodies Banana Pudding. That is the best banana pudding that I've ever had in my life. I really, really love their honey glazed donuts. So if you have a sweet tooth or you're looking for something new to try, please check out Goodies Banana Pudding. All right, y'all. So I got a really good one for y'all today. So today we're going to talk about tackling something that we all face, but people rarely talk about. Okay. Today we're going to talk about how to turn your pain into purpose. I'm going to repeat that. Today we're going to talk about how to turn your pain into purpose. And one of the biggest reasons that I brought this up is because when you think about it, a lot of us go through pain. Okay, we all experience pain from many different things, from grief, failure, regret, loss, sometimes loss of somebody that you love, or just experiencing something, that hurt you that somebody else did that you trusted. Okay, life gets very, very difficult, and sometimes we are left carrying and bearing the weight of feeling lost in our lives, and that comes with pain. I know what it's like, to carry that weight of pain. And I tell people all the time about my own experience with dealing with pain, of going through some of the darkest moments of my life. And that was the period from 2012 to 2022. Those were some of the darkest years of my life. And when I went through these hard periods of my life, in just a decade, I had lost about 10 family members and 5 close friends. And I remember the times when I felt afraid to pick up the phone, thinking that it would be bad news, just constantly contemplating in my head, oh my God, somebody else has passed. Oh my God, something else has happened. And just having that worry and that anxiety and that anxiousness. And I know the pain of grieving a loved one. And I know the pain of feeling angry at cancer. I know the pain of hearing that shocking news that my sister or a close friend of mine have died from murder or died from violence that have taken place. And I know the heartbreak that it brings to lose somebody because of a drunk driver. Okay. So I know the pain that life can bring you. And so that's part of the biggest reason why I brought this up. And just like many of you, I know that life is full of pain, and the good news is that we will have the chance to get better, and a lot of times when you're going through pain, you feel like you're losing control over your mind. You feel like you're losing control over your body and even your spirit. And a lot of times your own relationships. And I really, really know how important it is when you're dealing with untreated pain. Okay, because untreated pain can seep into everything in your life, making you question your purpose, making you even question the reason why you're existing, the reason why you're here on this earth. Untreated pain can make you think that way and make you feel that way. That's why I want to talk about pain today. It's one of the biggest things that all of us go through, because pain is something that we all understand. And I call pain the universal language. I call pain the universal language. And one of the biggest reasons for this is because no matter your race, no matter your color, no matter your background, no matter how much money you have, no matter where you come from, we all experience pain. Pain is part of the human process. It is part of our human nature. Pain is what makes our experience. And the crazy thing about pain is that it's a very strange concept and a very strange experience, because a lot of times when we're going through pain, it could be so tough and so hard that a lot of times we try to avoid it. and we try to avoid it, we try to put it away, and oftentimes this puts a stamp or hinders our chance to grow. Okay, and a lot of times when you're dealing with pain, it's not easy. It is not easy depending upon the level of pain that you are going through right now. It is not easy to deal with. Pain, a lot of times, from going through my own experience, feels like an obstacle. A lot of times, it feels like it's something that's stopping in our tracks. Whatever type of pain that you're going through, a lot of times it may feel like your own world has stopped in a moment. And for years, I felt that way. I felt like my own world has stopped. But over time, I began to see pain in a different light, and I started to develop a different perspective for pain. I started to realize that pain has the ability to humble us. And it has the ability to strip away the layers we use to shield ourselves. And it allows those layers to fall away, and we're left with something that is real and something that is true. Pain can push us out of our comfort zones a lot of times, and it forces us to look deeper in ourselves and ask ourselves the true questions about who we are, okay, and what truly matters to us here in this earth and why we're here right now in this moment. That's what pain does. When you're dealing with your pain and you're working through your pain, you start to become a more compassionate person and a more empathetic person, because you start to be able to connect with people on different levels. And as I always say, pain is universal. It's something that we all speak. It's the language that we all speak because it's a part of our human nature. It's because it's a part of our human process. Okay. So when we're going through this and when we're embracing our pain, when we're finding out what it is and what is causing us pain, a lot of times that allows us to connect with other people on in a different way. In our hardest moments, and even in my hardest moments when there seemed like, life had no meaning, I remember that pain a lot of times is planting the seeds of resilience and wisdom and strength within you. You may not see it right now, you may not know it right now, but whatever you're going through is planting a pathway for you to get to the next level or the next version of your life. And so the good news that I always tell myself, and so that I'm telling you today, is pain is not the end of your story. Pain is not the end of your story. And a lot of times, often depending upon what you're going through, it's the beginning of your journey towards something that is bigger and greater than you could have ever imagined. Some of the most inspiring people that you glean to, every single day or throughout your life, people you look up to. If you look at some of the most inspiring people and see what their walks through life have been, they will be able to tell you some of their most deepest struggles. You will see that their journey wasn't easy. And but their pain became the foundation of their purpose, shaping who they became, shaping who they are, allowing them to impact other people's lives that other people couldn't. So rather resisting your pain, what if you leaned into it? What if you let your pain teach you, shape you, and even drive you? Imagine if instead of hiding your scars, you saw them as symbols of strength, as a reminder that you have survived the storms. You have survived the storms that have come to you. Every painful experience has the potential to mold us into a person that we are meant to be, stronger, smarter, even greater. And the greatest question right now is, how do you turn your pain into purpose? How do you move forward? So I have some really, really good practical tips about how to turn your pain into purpose. Right. And so the first tip that I have for you, and everything that I talk to you about is things that I worked through in my own life, things that I have applied in my own life that have helped me move through my journey of pain and find purpose in my own life. Right. And so the first thing and the first tip that I have for you is something that I've done myself. Okay. Acknowledge and embrace your pain. And this is a very hard thing to do. Okay. And it's going to take some time. This is not an overnight thing. Right? Acknowledge and embrace your pain. Turning pain into purpose starts with acknowledging it. Okay. We often want to bury our pain. We often want to ignore it. We often want to hide our pain. But pain demands to be dealt with. Okay. Only when we allow ourselves to truly experience it can we bring an understanding to it. So let yourself feel your pain. Let yourself feel whatever you're going through. Don't rush yourself to cover up what you're going through. Sit with it for a minute. Try to explore it for a second. At times, and a lot of times, we try to run from our pain, but doing this only creates a void inside us. It only creates a gap inside of us. Take time to be honest with yourself about how you're really feeling, about how you're really going through. If you can't be honest with anybody else on this earth, the person that you can be honest with is yourself. That is the number one person that you should be honest with. If you can't be honest with anybody else in this world, be honest with yourself about how you are currently feeling right now. Okay. And one of the things too is to face your pain head on, because that's one of the first steps getting towards healing. And I know with me and my healing journey, as I was moving through my pain and as I still move through it every single day, some of the things that I do is journaling, meditation. I like to do quiet reflection. A lot of times I like to, on a beautiful day, walk through the park and just think to myself and ask myself, what am I feeling? What is my pain or my experience trying to teach me right now in this moment? And I've done this in some of the most darkest moments of my life. And this has truly given me clarity, truly given me insight on what I was experiencing, and helped me even document my journey. Okay. So if you're going through something right now, try to acknowledge it and embrace it to kind of understand what it is that you're truly going through and what you can learn from it. So that's tip number one. So let's move on to tip number two. So tip number two is all about this. It's about reflecting and finding the lessons in your pain. Tip number two, reflecting and finding the lessons in your pain. Every painful experience has something to teach us. Everything we go through, no matter what it is, it has something to teach us to help us get to the next level of who we are and who we are becoming. Okay. It might not be obvious at first. You may not see it at first because it could be so painful and so devastating on what you're going through. It could be very difficult to see what it is that you need to learn from this. But reflecting on your pain can reveal important lessons for your life. Ask yourself, what is my pain teaching me? What is my experience teaching me right now that I'm going through, right? It might be pushing you, it might be pushing you to confront your fear, to confront a certain area of your life that you have avoided and tried to stay away from. It might be trying to show you who the people really are around you, or the person you are becoming. Okay? Through reflection, pain begins to transform from something we just endure to something that actually shapes us. So set aside some time, whether it is to write in your journal, meditate on some of the questions about what your experience is actually teaching you. Write down your thoughts, okay? This can help you, give you clarity, because it helped give me clarity too. And that's one of the biggest things that I always stick with when I'm going through something difficult. I always try to write it down about how I'm feeling, because I have to get it out. And I'm not the type of person that likes to just tell everybody how I'm feeling or what it is that I'm going through. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person that I'm a very private person. So I like to write my things down and keep my thoughts to myself unless I find a safe person to share them with. And I'm sharing it with you all today, and be able to talk it out, So consider keeping a journal, or even if you're not a person who likes to write, keep voice memos or voice recordings that capture your thoughts over time. This helps also capture your journey and what you was feeling and what you was dealing with on your journey. Reflection helps us find meaning. Okay. And through meaning, we can begin to plant the seeds of purpose in our own life. So remember, reflect and find lessons in your pain. Tip number 3, use your pain to help others. Tip number 3, use your pain to help others. A lot of times, depending upon what you're going through in your life, your pain can feel isolating and it can feel lonely. But when we use our experiences to help others, it becomes a bridge that connects us to other people. Okay. In one of my darkest moments, I remember that I decided to coach my son's little league basketball team. And one of the things that I can say is that those kids taught me that I still had value. They taught me that I was still needed. Helping them succeed brought me out of my own pain. And it's crazy because it did. I remember one kid who I was helping on my son's basketball team. He was one of the smallest kids and he struggled to shoot the ball. And I encouraged him every day for 12 weeks. I told him, if you show up early and stay a little late, I'll teach you how to shoot. And he did this every single day for 12 weeks, every single day. And most times, he missed shots every single day. And it wasn't until our last game of the season, he got in the fourth quarter and he caught the ball. And I told him, I said, you know what? That's your shot right there. He squared his little shoulders up. He shot the ball and it went right in and said swoosh. The crowd erupted. His parents were so excited. He was so excited that he ran off the court and we still had 2 minutes of basketball to play. That's how excited he was. So I found purpose in my own pain. Those kids, by helping those children succeed, I was able to come out of my own darkness and find light. Okay, so that is why it is very, very important for you to look for ways to help other people, even if it's very small. By supporting somebody else, you can not only help them, but you're also helping yourself heal through your own pain. So find somebody to be able to help when you're in pain. All right, so let's move on to number 4. Channel your pain into creativity. Channel your pain into creativity. Creativity can be one of the most powerful outlets for processing pain and processing experiences. And by channeling your emotions into something creative, you can transform your raw feelings into something that's meaningful. For me, it was writing children's books based upon helping kids overcome fear, helping them overcome grief, and helping them overcome these things, help me heal and get back to life, And creativity lets us express what's inside and connect to other people who might not have ever known what you were going through in that present moment. So get creative. So tip number 5. Tip number 5 says, help others through their pain. Help others through their pain. Helping other people through similar struggles is is an incredible healing process. Okay. And when I think about this, I think about my father-in-law. In 2021, my father-in-law passed from cancer. And one of the things that my wife did as she was going through her grieving process is that she put on a tree ceremony to honor him. And when she did this, she invited all of his friends, her family, church community, and everybody came together for this tree ceremony. And we was able to plant a tree in his name. And when we planted the tree in his name, everybody shared memories and thoughts and just celebrated him about the ways that he impacted their life and how they interacted with him. And it reminded me how much impact one life can have and bring so much sense and closure to peace all around other people. It reminded me how important it is to make sure that you're connecting with people as you're living in life. It helped me see other people heal in a way to where they can share great memories, they can laugh, they can have fun together. And also too, it can be a cornerstone where you can go visit that person where they have transformed into a new light. So if you're going through something difficult, considering honor them or somewhat by joining a cause or honoring their memory, supporting others can help you find meaning and connect with something that's even greater than yourself. And the last one that I have for y'all, and I'm not going to keep y'all today, is tip number 6. Trust the process and have faith in the journey. This is another big one and another hard one that's difficult to do. Okay. And this is going to take time. Sometimes finding purpose in pain requires trust. Trust the journey. Even when you can't see where it's actually leading you, pain doesn't make sense in the moment that you're going through it because a lot of times you're shocked or you're grieving or you're feeling some type of regret. You're feeling some type of emotion that you're going through. So it may not make sense while you're going through it at the moment. Okay. But after you go through it at time and after you understand and after you embrace it, it helps shape who you become. So keep moving forward, trusting that the experience will serve you for a larger purpose in your life where you can learn and be able to help somebody else. When we trust the process, we no longer are enduring the pain. We are transitioning into a path of growth and resilience. Today's session, from turning your pain into purpose. Remember that your pain is a part of your own story. It is a chapter in your own story. So instead of erasing it, embrace your pain. All right, y'all, that wraps up today's session on turning your pain into purpose. Remember, your pain is a chapter in your own story. It is your story. Rather than erasing it and trying to avoid it, see it as a defining chapter that adds depth and meaning to your own journey. Let it remind you of the strength that you have. Use it to fuel your path forward. If today's session resonated with you and inspired you, please reach out to Safe Touch Family Counseling. If you need a little help, if you need a little guidance, they're there to help. And thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast From Zero to Hero. If this episode inspires you, don't forget to subscribe, share it with somebody who might need it. And as always, I hope you all have a fantastic week. Until next time, stay safe and keep turning your pain into purpose. Peace.